how is it for you after you've done so well for a certain amount of time? Now you have a preseason block, and like how is it for you to manage these expectations?
It's challenging. You know, when I first went pro, it's like if you look at me and Ben Shelton's trajectory, at least until NCAA's, it was very similar. It was a lot of the times where Ben would win a tournament, I would win a tournament, and so I kind of had this like delusional expectation that I was gonna turn pro and I was gonna do what Ben did. I was gonna like final all these challengers right away. I was gonna second round in Atlanta, whatever. I was gonna go 5 sets at the Open. I was gonna get the Australian Open wildcard in those 3 challengers at the end of the year. And so I kind of was just like in this la la land type of living, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do all these things, and then it wasn't happening. And I started to like just get so overwhelmed. I was just like, oh, like I was expecting to do what Ben did. And then I kind of realized I'm like, that was just like such an outlier. Like you look at Ben's results and it's like, gosh, like how did he do that? And yet I had to realize that I was like, that's an outlier. Like I'm also not an outlier. Like I just have to realize that my path is a little bit different. And then even starting this year, it's just like I was in Portugal and I was hoping to be in Australia. That was kind of what my goal was. When I went pro, as I wrote it down, I was like, I kind of want to be in Australia to start the year at the beginning of this year. And I wasn't there. And there's a lot of guys kind of closer to my age. Like if you look at like Alex or Jerry or like this Arthur Cazot, who's done outrageously good at the Australian Open. But a lot of guys that are closer to my age, I was like, oh, like that's kind of like my group of guys that I was trying to follow. And I wasn't there, and I was in Portugal, and I wasn't doing well, and I was just kind of overwhelming myself, just thinking like, why am I not there? Like, am I not good enough to be there? And so, I mean, definitely been a lot of challenges, but I mean, I kind of have a good team, like I said, that's kind of been able to suppress those feelings and kind of make me realize that my path is just a little bit different, that whatever happens for a reason, and I can't really think that, oh, I'm not good enough. It's just my path is different, and maybe it'll take me a few extra years to get to that point, but I'll get to that point eventually, you know?
It's so interesting because for how competitive tennis is, it's hard for you to compare yourself to other people, you know?
Sure.
So, I mean, whereas like you ended last year really well and you have a good opportunity because you don't really have that many points to defend. So it's a good opportunity for you in Portugal as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but you were hoping to be in another place with a group of people that you thought that was on a similar trajectory as you. So in a way you stopped yourself. I don't know if that impacted the performance or not, but
I think it maybe not while I was playing, but like the lead up to it and that type of stuff. Like I was like a little bit resentful almost of going there rather than going to this other place, you know.
Yeah. How close were you for the Australian?
I think I was at 3.
Because you semied one, no?
I semied 2 at the end of the year, but I was still I want to say about 120 spots out.
No, but like for the 3.
I was in. I want to say if I had beat
Gibson,
Gibson,
like top 5.
If I had beat Gibson, I think I would have got it.
Oh,
if I
no
had
way.
beat him, yeah.
Was that on your mind or not really?
I think it was. I think it was a little bit too much on my mind. I was thinking a lot about being in Australia.
Oh,
and
really?
I was just because I was even talking about it with like my mom, and she was just like, oh, like for Christmas I'll buy your brother a trip, like a ticket to Australia to go with you. And I was just like, oh yeah, like that sounds great.
Yeah.
But I got to win this match, and then I didn't win the match, so that's how it goes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
How similar was that to the NCAA final for you? Like, did that cross your mind at all or no? It's probably the same thing, no?
I think it crossed my mind a little bit towards the end of the match. Like actually more so like when I was up 2-0 in the 3rd set. I was like, oh, if I win this match, like I get I'm gonna go to the Open, and then I got broken next game.
Semis?
For what? Sorry again.
You played him in the semis?
Who?
Gibson.
Oh, I didn't play. Oh, at the I played at Gibson in the semis, in Champagne.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what?
No, that's funny. It's like, I don't know. It sounds like not anytime, because I don't know your whole life, but it sounds like the times that you were expecting things, they don't quite happen. But the times where you're just locked in and doing your thing, that's when you kind of flow through. So it's like, it's funny how you're going to try to find the balance of, let's say you're going to run right now and you start winning a bunch of matches, to somehow remain in that like hungry, locked in space, as opposed to like now like changing your mindset again and like start expecting more from yourself. Like, I don't know, like, it's got to be very hard to do because when you start winning, I guess now you have new goals.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your whole perspective changes. So it's like, just funny how you have to learn to balance, like, I guess, expectations versus the process and all those thoughts that come with it. Like, it's not an easy, I guess, dance.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one thing that probably would help me in those moments is just consistency. It's like maybe not consistency on the court, but just with the consistency off court. I feel like for me personally, like in the moments where I'm like struggling, I'm not doing well, I'm making sure I'm talking to like a sports psychologist, like I'm doing all this, like I'm doing extra working out, I'm doing extra mobility, that type of stuff. And then I start doing successful and I'm like, oh, like I'm finally beyond that. Like I don't need the sports psychology. Like we've talked about it. Like I don't.
Now I get it.
We don't need to talk anymore. It's like I've got it. Like I understand. I understand what I need to do on court. And then 3 months go by, and it's like I've just been riding this wave on a high, and then I'm back down in this just back low. And I'm like, damn. Like I need to go back to the sports psychology.
So the work,
it's like almost defeat. Like it's like defeat having to go back, but it's like. After 2 sessions, then I talk to him, and it's like everything's great, and I'm feeling great, and I do well, and I'm like, oh, perfect. Like,
it's the work is the answer.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the same cycle, and I just keep getting lost in the fact that I'm like, oh, I'm too good for that. But no, you just got to stay consistent on it.
Never stop. Yeah.